UFC Fight Night Vegas 40 Lad vs Dumont just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card. This was not the most stacked card in the world, but it actually ended up going okay, like most of them do. Whenever there is a badly stacked card, typically all of the fights are pretty decent. Let's start immediately with the early prelim opener of Istela Nunes versus Ariane Carnelossi. I picked Ariane Carnelossi to win this one by TKO in the second round to ground and pound. She couldn't get it done until the third. I was very, very worried about my prediction. Istela Nunes looked great on the feet, in all honesty. Very, very good on the feet. Was lighting up Ariane Carnelossi in the first and second round. Carnelossi would get some takedowns here and there, but never really established any control time whatsoever. Istela Nunes would work her way back up to her feet, land some knees in the clinch, land some punches in the clinch, then separate herself and go back to landing shots at range. Carnelossi did land some good shots as well, but I think it was actually 2-0 up for Istela Nunes going into that third round. Could have been 1-1, but it was 2-0 up in my opinion for Istela Nunes. Ariane Carnelossi comes back, wins the third, gets the rear naked choke. It was a great finish. She actually finally drove through with the takedown, passed over the guard, eventually got a good position on the back and got the rear naked choke that she needed to win. Very good performance by Ariane Carnelossi. Good win over Istela Nunes. Moving on up the card, Batgerel versus Brandon Davis. I picked Brandon Davis to win this one as an underdog. Batgerel got the first round KO. He lit him up real bad in the first round, put him down multiple times. I think it was a questionable stoppage. I'm going to get ripped apart for that. I know a lot of people had Batgerel winning this one. I think it could have been gone a little bit longer just because. And I know a lot of people have not maybe seen Brandon Davis fight, so they're not going to want to agree with me here. But I've seen Brandon Davis slept around the octagon like he was against Randy Costa, smacked up around the octagon, wobbling all over the place, legs not under him whatsoever, and he still manages to come back and get the job done. He's been rocked in a lot of fights in his career, and he always manages to find a way to get back in there, get into the later rounds, start wearing on his opponent. I think it should have been allowed to go on a little bit longer, but oh well. More of a weird stoppage than an early stoppage. It was kind of like the Jacare Souza versus Whitaker stoppage, you know, but a little bit different because, of course, this was immediately in the first round and there's still a chance for things to change around. Batgerel gets a first round KO though, lands a big punch on Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis just didn't have the head movement early on enough to get it done. Plus, of course, draining himself down to 135 pounds on short notice is never going to be too good for the old brain. Dehydrated, bad head movement, big power from Batgerel, big accuracy from Batgerel as well. He landed a shot eventually, adjusted himself, followed through with the right hand, landed square on Brandon Davis's chin, and put him away. Good finish by Batgerel. Moving on up the card, Lupita Godinez versus Luana Carolina. I actually went with Lupita Godinez here. This one was added in on short notice because Lupita Godinez turned around immediately after her performance last weekend and fought Luana Carolina. I mean, it was just size, really. It was a close fight. In all honesty, it could have gone to Lupita Godinez. It was a very close fight. Lupita Godinez got outlanded, but she landed a couple of times in the third round, in the second round. It looked like she rocked Luana Carolina a little bit in those moments, but then she would go for a takedown. And it was just the size of Luana Carolina. Carolina is not good whatsoever. Straight up, she is not a good fighter at all. She did nothing good in the entire fight, other than knee in the clinch, I guess, because she's taller. That's literally all she had in that fight. She was taller. She was way bigger by far. Lupita Godinez, a little bit too small to turn around and take on a big girl like Luana Carolina. Tried her takedowns. Actually, I called an armbar finish in the first round for Lupita Godinez. And she almost got the armbar finish in the first round. Luana Carolina saved by the bell. Lupita does all of that work for nothing at the end of the round, but she wins the first round. But then Luana Carolina, I guess, just barely outstruck her enough to win the last two rounds, according to the judges. Can't call it a robbery. Very close fight. Opinionated fight. Luana Carolina gets this one done. Landed about one jab the entire fight with about a 50-inch reach advantage. 1-1-1-2 in the fight as well. Luana Carolina wins by literally just being taller in the clinch and Lupita not being able to do anything about that because she can't get her body weight over Luana Carolina whenever she takes her down. Moving on up the card, Danny Roberts versus Ramazan Emeev. Okay. Okay then. This one was in my parlay. And I picked Ramazan Emeev to win. You know why? Because everyone was. Everyone had Ramazan Emeev in their parlay, I feel like. He was a lock of the card. Danny Roberts is not as good as Ramazan Emeev. And I'm telling you this right now, Ramazan Emeev won every single fucking round. I have trouble arguing a round for Danny Roberts. The best one he's got a chance at is round 3, and he got rocked in round 3 and went jelly-legged for a bit, and he got outlanded in round 3 as well. I don't see how you can give this fight to Danny Roberts. I just don't see it. Technically, I guess he landed more than Ramazan Emeev in the 3rd round, but in terms of real, legit good strikes, Ramazan Emeev clearly outlanded him. I have no idea what they were doing with the total strikes in this fight. The significant strikes of the entire card were all over the place, the ones they were showing on the screen. I think we could sort of see that there were some bad decisions coming as the night went on, but this might actually be the worst decision of all time. I have trouble arguing a round for Danny Roberts. Emeev was on top. I want to talk about this as well. The stats have Danny Roberts having 2 minutes and 38 seconds of top control over Ramazan Emeev. When? When did that happen? I don't remember a single moment in that fight longer than about 30 seconds where Danny Roberts was on top of Ramazan Emeev. And if they're counting clinch control, Emeev should have more minutes on his time as well, because he was the only one on top on the ground. He had a dash choke. Are they counting top control as Roberts is in a dash choke? They better not be, because this is an absolute rigging. Bisping was saying it could be 1-1 going into the 3rd. As soon as that was said, and someone told me that Bisping said that, it's rigged. They're going to give it to Danny Roberts. There's no way he won the first 2 rounds. There's literally zero chance. The 3rd is debatable. I think Emeev won it. He made Danny Roberts go jelly-legged at some point. He landed the much better shots in that round as well. Much cleaner shots. I believe got the takedown in that round for a split moment and ended up on top for a few seconds of that round. I'm taking the win. I picked Emeev by 30-27 unanimous decision. Emeev won by 30-27 unanimous decision. One of the judges, and this is how you know this sport is entirely corrupt from the top to the fucking bottom. One of the judges. Now, if there was a stray judge who gave Roberts the 2nd round, this would be a robbery. This would be a terrible, terrible robbery, and I'd feel ashamed by it. This would be a terrible robbery. They robbed Emeev of his money. Oh well. Terrible, bad decision. The fact that Chris Lee gave this 30-27 to Danny Roberts. As soon as I saw 30-27 come out of Bruce Buffer's mouth, or whoever was doing the fucking commentary's mouth, that weird guy, if you are ready, Joe Martinez. As soon as I saw 30-27, I was like, it's Emeev, obviously. How do you give Roberts the 1st round? It's a pre-written scorecard. Everyone had Emeev in their parlay. Everyone I knew that was talking about betting on the fight was saying, right, I've got Emeev. He's one of the locks of the card, and he's actually quite good odds. So people were actively picking Emeev as like a great odds favourite. He'll get the job done. He's definitely going to win. Danny Roberts isn't good enough. And what do you know? It's a pre-written scorecard. How is it 30-27 Danny Roberts? Emeev even landed more total strikes. Roberts landed 34 significant strikes. 42 total strikes. So he landed, in the clinch and the grappling situations that they had, he landed, first of all, he got outlanded on the feet at range, but he landed what? 8 more strikes in the clinch? 8 strikes. Emeev landed 27 more strikes in the clinch. He landed more shots at range on the feet. He got more takedowns than Danny Roberts. I don't even remember when Danny Roberts got a fucking takedown. I think they're making it up. He got more takedowns than Danny Roberts. He landed more shots at range. He landed better shots in the fight. He was the only one who rocked Danny Roberts at any moment. I think he rocked him back twice in this fight. Good times where it looked like Danny Roberts took a very bad step or two. Even in the 1st round, he got jaggedly legged a little bit. 3rd round, or not 3rd round, other stats, more total strikes in the clinch and in the grappling situations. The only submission attempt in the fight went to Ramazan Emeev, and he had more control time. I don't know how this went to Danny Roberts, and I think there should be some kind of refund, but there's not going to be. It's a pre-written scorecard. The betting companies are owned by the commission. The commission owns the judging in MMA. Until the UFC put these judges on their payroll and own the judges for MMA, they will never fix this problem. Open scoring, absolute fucking distraction. No one gives a fuck. It won't do anything. Now we'll just know about the shit judging as the fight goes on, rather than fixing the shit judging. I don't understand. Get rid of them. It's absolutely corrupt, but they're going to keep doing it because everyone had Emeev winning. Moving on up the card, Andrei Sanchez versus Bruno Silva. I went with Bruno Silva here. I thought he'd get a TKO in the 1st round. He ended up getting it done in the third. Very, very tough fight for him. He fought through a lot of bad moments in the fight. He got groin shot a couple of times over. I think about 3 different times. Maybe 4 different times in the fight. Very bad for Bruno Silva in the early rounds. Really badly groin shotted as well. There was a moment where Andrew Sanchez threw a front kick. It wasn't intentional, but he threw a front kick as Bruno was loading up a kick, and it went straight into the nuts. And it was like one of those ones where you saw Brandon Moreno go down in the Figueiredo first fight, and you were like, this changes the fight. But no, they didn't take a point then. They eventually did take a point as the fight went on. Andrew Sanchez needed to win himself the third round. Otherwise, it was going to be like a 10-7 to Bruno Silva. If he kept going and got a 10-8 plus the point deduction, it would have been a 10-7 round. He would have won. Couldn't hang on long enough, man. He tried to grapple. He had a really good game early on. Let's talk about the black belt later on. I don't understand. Out-grappling Bruno Silva in the early part of the round. Not doing any damage whatsoever. Bruno Silva actually at one point I thought KO'd Andrew Sanchez while he was on his back. Because in the second round, Sanchez was posturing up in the guard. And Bruno Silva caught him with a big hook. And Sanchez went flatline into his guard. Like, I thought he got KO'd Yuri Prohaska, Dominic Reyes style. But either way, he kept going. But it was the body shots from Bruno Silva. Even in the first round, to invest in those early. Knowing that maybe Sanchez could try and grapple with him. To invest those body shots early was a great plan by Bruno Silva. I wish he'd have been a bit more proactive in the second round and gone for more body shots in the second, but he got the third round finish with combinations against the cage. Very good win for Bruno Silva. I picked him to win as well, so I'm glad he got the job done. He would have won by decision anyway. Moving on up the card to the main card. Wait! The black belt. How the fuck do you get a black belt for being out-grappled for 2 straight rounds? This is what's wrong with MMA right now. This is what's wrong with martial arts in general. If he triangled Sanchez from on bottom, and he's been doing jiu-jitsu forever, I get giving him a black belt. How do you justify promoting someone to a black belt, the top level of jiu-jitsu? Regardless of how long they've been doing it for, watching them get out-grappled by Andrew fucking Sanchez. How does that make any sense? He had no submission attempts. He had no decent ability to get back up on the ground. I mean, he got back to his base a couple of times, but he didn't, like, use any reversals or sweeps or butterfly guard or anything like that. Like, he just accepted defeat on the ground until eventually getting back to his knees. I don't understand why they gave him a black belt, but they gave it him anyway. Moving on up the card. Night the Train versus Ludovit Klein. Ludovit Klein lets down a bunch more parlays. He is a massive underperformer in the UFC so far. He was a massively touted prospect. 17-2 at one point. 17-2 at one point. Beating great competition opponents. 11-1. Other opponents who are Dagestani who are 11-2. He's beaten great opponents on the regional scene, but in the UFC he just doesn't seem to be able to find those shots. And Nate Landwehr, the guy who lost to Julian Erosa in the first round by KO, upsets Ludovit Klein, and respect, man. If there was anyone who was going to get an upset on this card and prove me wrong and get a win against me, I'd rather it be Nate Landwehr than anyone else. Big fan of Nate the Train. Glad he got the job done. Keeping his contract. Going to renew with the UFC. He's a big name. He went viral on social media because of his accent and his voice. And everyone's talking about the fact that him and Mike Perry should meet up and stuff. But let's talk about the fight itself. Ludovit, I believe, won the first round. I want to say because he landed a lot of body shots. I mean, Nate the Train could arguably get himself that first round as well, but I believe Ludovit won the first round, landed good body shots over and over and over again in the first round. There's an argument for Nate the Train winning, but I think it was Ludovit's first round. Very, very close though. Second round, Nate the Train all day in the UFC. Nate the Train! What's up? Clarksville, staying up! Anyway, round 2. Nate the Train starts blasting knees to the body in the clinch. That was the massive game changer. I think he actually hurt Ludovit Klein a couple of times to the body because you could see Klein's body kind of shrimp up a little bit and cover over. Second round, just blasting knees in the clinch whenever he had his moments. Klein still doing decently good at range. This time, Nate Landwehr starting to open up with his hands a little bit more, starting to walk down. Ludovit Klein had a very close Darce choke attempt in the second round as well. Third round comes around. Landwehr gets right back in his mush. Tests out the first minute of the third round, seeing what Ludovit has for him, but other than that, he walked him down, kneed him to the body again, put in a Darce choke for one final time, and this time Ludovit Klein didn't have the energy to break out of it like he did in the second round. Eventually had to tap. Third round submission for Nate the Train. Glad he won, because I really like Nate the Train's personality. And it would have been sad if someone with that much personality and charisma would just leave us now, because if he lost, that was the last fight on his contract. He was fighting a 4-1 favourite or a 3-1 favourite. They wanted him to lose so they could cut him. M1 Landwehr is back. The man run M1 for 2 years. I've been waiting to see him back on form. He's got a good win against Ludovit Klein. And honestly, with 2 good wins over Darren Elkins and Ludovit Klein, he's still a decent guy in that division. Moving on up the card to another fight on the main card. Manon Fiorot versus Mayra Bueno Silva. Manon Fiorot got the job done. Pretty clean work. I thought she'd win this one by TKO, but she ended up getting it done by decision. Mayra Bueno Silva, credit, she's tough. She's very tough. Manon Fiorot, clean work. Got hurt to the body in the second round. Really terrified me in that moment because she did get hurt to the body. You heard her sort of go, ah, and then sort of dive for a single leg and just push Mayra Bueno Silva to the cage. Mayra Bueno Silva's got some nice kicks, in all honesty. Some very nice kicks. I almost said something else then. She's got a nice pair of them as well. But she's got a good front kick, a good body kick off her rear leg. Just really hard kicks. And they were working well against Manon Fiorot, but Manon Fiorot, 1-2-3s, body shot combinations. I wish she would have gone to the body with the hands a little bit more, because every time she threw a 1-2 at Mayra Bueno's guard, she just kept her guard gauged to her face. Should have slipped underneath there with a couple of body shots. She did it a couple of times, but I think she could have done it a little bit more. Worked on the cardio and started to slow down Mayra and maybe got a finish in those later rounds. Good side kicks to the body. Very nice side kicks to the body. I just wish we would have seen a... I'm glad we saw this, though. I don't know who gave a 10-8 round. No idea who's giving 10-8 rounds there. But whatever. But yeah, I'm glad we saw this. We get to see Manon Fiorot take a bit of punishment because she took a bad body shot in the second round. That hurt her, and she still fought through it. She took down Mayra Bueno Silva and ended up on top and landed good strikes on top and won those exchanges. Escaped a leg lock attempt at one point as well. And then she got good cardio. Good 3 rounds of hard-paced fight. And people who say this, by the way, I don't understand this. People say Manon Fiorot's never going to beat Valentina Shevchenko. These lower-tier flyweights, like Mayra Bueno Silva, might arguably be better than the ones that are still floating around the top. And I'll tell you this. Valentina Shevchenko... Okay. The first 3 rounds of her bouts that she has, including her first 3 rounds against Lauren Murphy, were not terribly dominant. It's only the last round in which Valentina Shevchenko really goes off. She outlanded Lauren Murphy in those first 3 rounds, but they're not like onslaughts and absolute destruction. So Manon Fiorot doing well right now. She could be a prospect to watch out for, or maybe a threat to Shevchenko, but I don't think she's going to be, because typically none of them can fight other than Shevchenko. She's the queen of a fake division that never existed, and she took over from Nico Montano. That's all you need to know. Good win from Manon Fiorot. Moving on up the card. Jim Miller versus Erick Gonzalez. Jim fucking Miller. Lyme disease, 10-7'd it. Erick Gonzalez slept him in the second round with a brutal right hand square on the chin. Down goes Erick Gonzalez. He landed the same punch in the first round as well. As Erick Gonzalez came in, he left his hands very low and his chin way out there. Miller caught him in the first round, but he took it well. In the second round, after Jim Miller just had a little bit of a breather on the stool, had a little bit more explosiveness in his hands, shuts the lights out on Erick Gonzalez, and definitely, by the way, gets himself a performance bonus. I believe, anyway. I think, and I'll tell you who I think the bonus you should go to in this card, but I believe that's definitely a performance bonus for Jim Miller. As an older guy, he just made $300K, by the way. $300,000 for Jim Miller. Good stuff. I was very happy to see him win. He fought through some trouble in the first round as well. Got taken down, ended up doing good, getting back to his feet. Erick Gonzalez landed a couple of decent shots, but Miller was landing the better shots in the first round, I believe. And I thought he won the first round as well. Second round shuts the lights out. Good win by Miller. Hopefully he gets to 50K bonus, and that would make him get $300,000 for that fight against Erick fucking Gonzalez. Credit to Jim Miller, still finessing the fucking game. Moving on up the card, Andrei Arlovski versus Carlos Felipe. No problem with this. I picked Andrei Arlovski to win. I thought he won the fight. It was very, very close, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was clearly Andrei Arlovski. He very clearly won the first round. I have no idea where the fucking stats are in round 2. How do they have Felipe up on strikes in round 2? Don't understand it whatsoever. I had Andrei Arlovski win in the second round as well. I thought he landed better shots, cleaner shots. Felipe would land a couple of glancing blows that would bounce off the top of Arlovski's head or maybe to the body, but because it's Arlovski, you're thinking to yourself, oh my god, this could at any moment KO him. So they all seem like bigger shots and more worrying blows. But Arlovski kept his movement, kept his footwork going. Landed great shots on the move, good front kicks to the body, good leg kicks early on. That massively affected the fight. Felipe could not walk by the third round. For Felipe to argue that this is a robbery, it's not true. Arlovski landed more shots. Overall, in the clinch, he landed an extra total strike as well, just if he needed it. And yeah, I thought he won it quite clearly. And again, what control time for Carlos Felipe. I guess when Arlovski, like, fell over at one point in the third round. But, like, it wasn't even really a great shot that Felipe landed. And other than that, in round 3, other than that one moment where Felipe landed a couple of good shots, Arlovski won the third round other than that. So I think it could have been Arlovski's fight. I think it's a good decision. And Arlovski's still out there doing the damn thing. And Arlovski just made $350,000 fucking dollars. And if it was fight of the night, which it might have been because it was a decent scrap, this could have got an extra $50K for both of them, making it $400,000 for Andrei Arlovski. It's great to see veterans making some good bank. Main event. Aspen lad Norma Dumont. This is why you don't do him for 5 rounds. I picked Norma Dumont to win. I thought she'd get a KO on the feet because she's just got... I thought she had way better hands than Aspen lad, and I thought that's what was going to carry her in this fight. She has good takedown defense, really slick hands, and Aspen lad just didn't have great hands. She's never had great hands on the feet. She got smashed up by Jermaine Durandamy, who had trouble with Juliana Pena on the feet. So, yeah. That was that, honestly. That was that. She jabbed her face in for 5 rounds, essentially. And Aspen lad never stopped doing this. Alright, Aspen, you fucking stupid bitch. Go fucking knock this broad out. You got 3 fucking rounds to turn this around for you, your family, your loved ones. You gotta get back out there and knock this fucking whore of a broad out. Now, get in her face, make it ugly, and win this fucking fight. Okay, coach. Ding, ding, ding. Like, it was just, there's no change from Aspen lad. If I picked her, I'd be furious. I want to parlay 20 into about 300 because of Norma Dumont getting it done as an underdog. That's 2 underdog picks in a row in main events for the Guru Meister. I like it. Norma Dumont got it done. Not much to talk about. At one moment in the 4th round, Aspen lad got a reversal, ended up on top, landed some big ground and pound shots. Not enough for a 10-8 round, 10-9 round. Took the round back for herself in that last moment. Round 1, 2, and 3, clearly Norma Dumont just outlanding her, out-throwing her. It was a boxing match on the feet. They didn't throw kicks whatsoever, it felt like. Round 5, I thought, went to Norma Dumont as well. So, for a judge to give it 48-47, again, what the fuck is going on? Lad held her against a cage. Dumont landed all of the shots in the 5th round, all of the total strikes, all of the significant strikes. Landed great knees at the end of the round as well. I don't know how it was 3-2 on one of the judges' scorecards. I had it 4-1 Norma Dumont. Very clean victory. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Oh, performance bonuses and fight of the night bonuses. Let's talk about these. Arlovski's got a lot of money. So let's give 4 performance bonuses out. This is how I would do it. None for the main event. That deserves to be fucking... They deserve a pay cut after that shit show of the main event. Andrei Arlovski. No, you get money. You get 350,000. You know what I mean? And it was a close fight as well. So you didn't, like, dominate or anything. Fun fight, though. I think 50k should go to Jim Miller, Nate Landwehr, Bruno Silva for a comeback win, and then fuck it, give it to Dana Batgerel as well. I say. That's what I would say to do. Or, fight of the night bonus for Felipe versus Arlovski. Or Roberts, but I don't want to give money to Roberts because he don't fucking deserve it. He made 131,000. He does not deserve that money. But he made it. Fucking 131,000 for Danny Roberts. Fighters don't get paid enough. Fucking stupid little fucking morons. Either way. That's what I would do with the performance bonuses. Fuck it. There you go. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. It was a good card. I'm looking forward to next week's card. But to be honest with you, I'm looking at next week's card here. They're just not that good. And it actually does look good. That's the problem. That is the problem. The cards look good now. Because we've been washed and brainwashed with all of these shit-ass cards. Now we've got this. It's like, thank God. Like, no. This is still not an acceptable card. But I'll take it over the shit we've had for the past 2 weeks. On this card, I went 5-1. Or no, 4-1 on the main card. 4-1, and then I went 3-2 on the prelims. So that's 7-3. Quick maths. You know what I'm saying? 7-3. I'm giving myself the Emeev win. I don't care what you say. Whoever does the statistics down below, give me the Emeev win. You know what you watched. 30-27 Emeev. I called it perfectly. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.